Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I guess you would call it like season 2 of Radio Club, where we still talk about things, but we talk about specific things now. This month's theme is going to be just like adaptations in media in general. Um, and yeah, today's topic will be like more specifically like adaptations of books and how they're represented in the media. So yeah, take us away, Alice, because yeah.
Oh, I mean, I didn't have a speaking point to start with, but I mean, how do you feel about adaptations in general? Are you like one of those people who thinks the book or the original source is always better than the movie? Or are there movies you like better than books?
I think, like, because there's always that really big debate um, online where it's like, if the book doesn't include everything, or sorry, if the movie doesn't include everything from the book, it's not good, or like something like that. Like people always like hound on like the smallest things, and other people just don't care. I feel like I kind of lie in between not caring and caring. I feel like if you like completely remove a bunch of stuff, then I'll kind of be upset, but like, if you only remove like one or two things that aren't even that consequential, like who cares?
Mhm. I think that another part of it is definitely like how you sort of like take in information. Like if you're definitely someone who prefers to visualize something, a movie can be better than like a book.
Mm.
Like watching something helps you a bit better. Personally, for me though, I do prefer reading it, usually because it gives more time to like explain things. Um, you get more detail usually and more.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm gonna have to agree with you on. I feel like books are long. Like when you think about it, books are pretty long. Like you could get through one in one day, sure, but it would take you like a few like times the amount the movie would take. Like let's say a movie is a few hours, you probably take 3 times that amount to read the book fully. And I feel like you kind of become invested over time when you're reading a book because no one really reads a book in one day. I feel like, you pick it up and then you put it down and you pick it up and that's like a week or 2 or 3. So I feel like you get a lot more time to stay with your like characters in that case. And I feel like when I'm watching a movie, if it's not like a series of movies based on a book, I'm just kind of not going to be as interested in what's going on.
Yeah, I feel like you can understand what's going on better and you can kind of understand the characters better because in a 2 or 3 hour movie, everything's kind of going by quick. Each scene's going by quickly. But when you're reading a book, you go at your own pace and you can really understand what's going on.
Hmm. No, for sure.
Yeah. Also, like, a point connected to Chris's, as a person who likes to see visual stuff maybe more than reading, I actually prefer like reading books a lot of the time because it gives me like, I don't know, I guess more freedom to visualize stuff I wrote like. Because with most movies that adapt books, I feel like some of the choices they make are, different from what I imagined and like maybe kind of boring.
Well, if you think about it, it's maybe only like a select few people's interpretation of something, and everyone would have a different version of what that thing is in their head. Like the likelihood of you being familiar with what's like on screen is very low because you're not the person who made it. So I feel like that's definitely like true. I feel like it's super easy to like watch something and be like, well, I don't like the way they designed that thing. So that's kind of why I like reading books more, because it's kind of like, it's my thing. It's got my own
Yeah.
flair to it.
I don't know, can you guys think of any adaptations that you maybe like better than the original sources though?
I have to say, and this is like complete and total sacrilege, but I have to say I like the Lord of the Rings movies a little more than I like the books because Tolkien is really like thorough in how he describes things, and the book is dense. Like I don't know if you've ever like I don't know how many of you have ever seen like a Lord of the Rings book or read them, but they're super dense, and all of his explanation in like very strangely worded British English sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And it's just the amount of times I would get confused reading that book and be like, what does this mean? What is he talking about? And whereas like I don't know, I feel like the movie also does a very good job at adapting um Tolkien's like ideas into like visual format. That's probably because he's super thorough. and the way he explains things, but it's still pretty good. Like, I don't think there's anything I really think like doesn't look like it would in the book.
Right, yeah.
But for the most part, they're kind of bad. Like, I think Chris, I don't know if Chris mentioned this before the recording or during the recording, but he mentioned Percy Jackson, and oh my God, that was kind of a garbage fire. Like, Percy Jackson's movie, like those movies weren't good. There's a reason they stopped making them. And I feel like a lot of adaptations can just kind of be like, well, what's the lowest effort thing to make the highest amount of money? What do the kids like that we don't have to make up ourselves? You know? And then they kind of make a movie like that, and it's just not good.
For sure, yeah. Shoot, I was gonna say something.
It's okay, we'll come back. But
Okay.
with like, and this is where the line starts getting blurred. Like when we talk about books, do we mean comic books and stuff? Because that enters like a whole different space.
Then can you throw manga into there?
Yeah, can you throw that?
Wait. Before we talk about
Yeah.
anime,
Oh, did you remember?
can I talk about one more real book?
Oh, well, I was gonna get into Marvel movies first before we got there.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
I mean,
But yeah, talk about
okay,
your.
one last real book. So I think one movie that just makes it source material better, and if not better, because that's like, personal preference, but it's definitely different and takes it in a new way, is the Howl's Moving
I
Castle.
knew you were gonna say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I think I like a lot that I read both the book and like watched the movie for, and it's super different. And like there's stuff to get from both of them, but in the end, I just like the movie more, and the themes in it just make more sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to remember like who created the movie and how good they are at doing that kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's
storytelling.
like if you read the book,
Mm.
also you can visualize those events in any way like you can.
Yeah.
And the way they did that in the movie is amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. That's definitely like one of my favorite adaptations. I was just thinking of like live action. For some reason, I was not even thinking about that. But yeah, definitely up there. And it's funny because Ghibli does like a really good movie adaptation, and there's like a really bad one too, like Tales from Earthsea is ugh,
Oh
not
yeah.
good. But that wasn't
I mean, that's probably just because the books are too long and there's too much stuff in them, and
Yeah.
you can't like. Also, like, I don't know, just the visual direction for that movie wasn't great.
kind of bland, very flat. It was like more towards the historical side of things probably than like fantasy, and that always kind of disappoints me. It's like,
Mhm.
why would you make things that look real when you can make things that don't look real? Because we all know that things look real, you know?
Mm.
If we want to switch to talking about anime, I have something interesting to add. If
Oh,
that's where we're going.
well, yeah,
Sure.
go ahead.
Okay, well, one of my favorite shows last year, The Promise Neverland, switched from following the manga to just doing their own thing, and it lost many fans, to say the least. A lot of people hopped right off that show and stopped watching it, apparently because they know that they won't do the manga justice, or they wanted them to follow that, which I thought was super interesting.
And that's something that I think, like, I just feel like that's the wrong decision for so many reasons. Like, you can't exactly start something on an established property and then just be like, yeah, we're not following that. Especially since, like, if I'm not mistaken, The Promised Neverland isn't, like, unfinished. Like, that content
Yeah,
exists,
exactly.
right?
It's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if that content exists, why not follow it? Why try to make your own thing after, like, basing the first part on something that already exists? Because then the point of animating something that's based on a manga is to bring those manga fans to watch your thing, right? Because at the end of the day, the animators are doing it mostly because they want people to watch it and to make money, right? So they make people who like the manga watch the show. So is it kind of like a bait and switch where you do one season of something that's based on something, and then the writers are like, I'm now gonna make it my own thing, my own plan. I've suckered you all
Right.
into watching my, like, story from when I
Yeah.
was 5.
Yeah, the thing I heard about that show specifically, though, I think the original writer of the manga is actually working on with them to like rewrite his own like thing,
That's even
which is
stranger.
interesting. So I guess that was like their goal to make it different. So, and a lot of people are saying it's like they're still putting a lot of like care and work into it. It's just different. But I don't know. The stuff I've seen about it definitely seems like it's definitely a downgrade from the manga.
Yeah, something super weird was they did the whole entire first season following the manga, and then they did 2 or 3 episodes, and then all of a sudden I saw a report on Instagram saying they dropped the manga and they're just gonna do it themselves. So literally halfway through season 2 or whatever, they just switched it all around. So
Wow.
Yeah, and that stuff kind of, I don't know. I guess it's a little better if the creator is on like your team doing that, but I don't know. I feel like that's just such a disservice to your own fans. Like at that point, just make a new property if you want to make something completely original. Don't base it on like stuff that already
Right, like
exists.
make a spin-off in the same universe.
Yeah, like anything. Like why does it have to be like that? You can still call it like it can still be a Promise Neverland title. Just like
Yeah.
finish the show, do it later. Don't hijack the show and make it different. Because at this point, that kind of ruins like all of the fans of the Promised Neverland's like excitement for this. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
guess they thought
imagine.
they were doing a good thing. Like, if you read the manga, you're now also getting you're getting more plot
But I don't
from the
think
Promise. But that's kind of
I
dumb.
don't think that's why people watch adaptations of manga.
That's
though.
true. That's
They
true.
watch it just to see their stuff animated. Like, I'm thinking about like, Demon Slayer right now, because yeah, I'm just thinking like, what if instead of animating the next season as like for what we're supposed to see in the manga, they're just like, okay, and now the demons aren't the enemies anymore. The real enemies were the humans, and then they just have like the fillers fighting each other or something. Like,
It's
I
like
would
an
hate
Attack
that.
on Titan thing.
Yeah, but like done without any reason. I don't know. Maybe that's an unfair comparison, but I'm thinking of something that I really like being treated like that, and I'm just getting kind of upset. So, do you think you'll watch any more of it, Aiden?
yeah, I will just because I like the characters and I'm gonna follow the storyline. But if the moment it starts getting bad, I'm dropping it 100%.
Mm. Yeah. It's just weird. Just a weird move. But yeah, so I did want to go and talk about comic books a
Marvel
little
stuff?
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
because
do it.
that's definitely like a facet of the like adaptation like discussion where like the Marvel comics, there's so many of them, and they're not really like the movies. Like Iron Man wasn't that big of a deal before his movie debut, and now everyone knows who Iron Man is. Like I think that's very interesting to me because they did stuff to Iron Man that wasn't like in the comics and people like it. So it's possible to like take your own direction with things that have been previously like established, but it's just kind of I feel like it's almost random as to whether it works or
Yeah.
not.
They honestly, from what I've seen, they pick and choose like plot points from the comic books that make sense with the movies they're writing, but still each movie's like a separate thing, and they're going for like a different story than the comics most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I definitely think like because there's just so many comics, it's hard to base any one character around any one specific representation without making someone mad. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Iron Man doesn't
Um,
act in the way he does in that one comic, so no, I'm never watching that movie again.
yeah. I like the direction they went with WandaVision though, because that show is based on a very like specific run of comics.
Mhm.
So it's not following that exactly too, but it has the same like basic premise and
Mhm.
vibe as it does. So I think that's a good example of it like following the storyline kind of closely, but also being a good adaptation.
Yeah. Uh, to be the exact opposite, Guardians of the Galaxy is something that completely like made a 180 from the way it was in the comics. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen what like the original Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy looked like, but ooh, they do not look
Oh
like
yeah,
they'd
it
be
was
very
bad. It was
screen
bad.
friendly. Like, and they just completely changed it around, gave them a vibe they didn't have with like all the classic music from like the 70s and stuff. And I think that's like, I don't know, it just worked. And that's definitely one of those things where like you can have people in the same comic book like franchise doing completely different things with the source material, and it still works. Like, I don't know. It's almost kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how they do it, like, consistently. Almost every time they make it good.
Mm.
Just, I don't know. Interesting.
Aiden, Chris, anything to like add?
Not
really read
really.
We're losing him.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I never really read the Marvel comics very much.
Aiden.
Aiden, man, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't really read books.
That's perfect.
You heard it here, everyone. He doesn't really read books.
Hello, can you hear me?
I think
Now we
so.
can,
Now
there
we
we
can.
go.
Yeah, you're back.
Finally. I don't really read books.
We heard that, yeah.
Yeah, we got that one.
That's pretty much it. I don't read books for fun, so I'm just watching movies, TV, basically.
Yeah.
What's the last book you read for fun?
Oh my god. Like 4th grade, I read Harry Potter. That's basically the last time. Otherwise, I'm just reading for school and stuff.
We'd probably be doing this topic a disservice if we didn't talk about Harry Potter, but I'm just not experienced enough to like lead that discussion.
Hey, Harry Potter's fire,
But
though. I
I'm
love
not
Harry Potter.
Look, the books are great. The movies were mediocre at best.
Ooh.
Really? You really just like the movies?
I don't think they were good. I mean, there are some like, sure, some fight scenes are cool where they're like battling, but they cut so much of it out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like.
Oh, it's one of those like.
I need a pass. Shush, I'm in the call. No, bro, but the books are way more boring than the movies, in my opinion. So that's basically it.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel like the Harry Potter books, like I tried reading those and like, I don't know. I feel like I like the movies better because it has such a feel to it. Like the soundtrack and like, I don't know, the actors, the
Yeah.
whole like, it looks really good.
there's definitely something to say about how like casting choices and like, especially audio, like the sound of things and like music especially is so like unique. I feel like I can't like read Lord of the Rings without thinking of the music. It's just so
Mm.
iconic. Yeah, just especially like stuff like that, because like humans are hardwired to like remember like sound cues like that. So having a good soundtrack or even a mediocre one really like sets your adaptation apart from like anything else and makes people remember it. But yeah.
I mean, I always have really liked the soundtrack, but the
Mm.
movies themselves, there were some parts of it that I liked. I just overall I could have done without. Stick with the books. Thank you.
What's everyone's favorite Harry Potter movie?
None. I don't like Harry Potter.
The fourth one. The fourth one.
The Goblet of Fire?
Yeah, that's the best movie.
Same, I love that one.
Yeah, it's the best one.
I like the Goblet of Dumb. Harry Potter's dumb. You've heard it here. Throwing shade.
You hear from someone who is incorrect.
Wrong. It's fine. You guys can be wrong. It's fine.
You are.
I'm right. Alright, so I guess it's coming up to that
Wait,
time.
Chris needs to say his.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I think for me it's a tie between Sorcerer's Stone and Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Interesting choices.
So I think it's coming that time where we talk about anime and manga, because we do that.
Do we already?
We did a little bit, but I feel like there's a lot more to say because we were talking about it more on like the the side of like adaptations and like stuff. But aside from the Promise Neverland, is there anything that you guys think just really does not do the source material justice?
Helsing anime, but no one knows what that is.
You talk about it a lot, but
I do talk about it a lot. It's really good. The manga is really good, but like neither of the two animes it has are very, very well done.
aren't they old?
They are old. They're like
Yeah.
I don't know when the manga came out, but it was like 90s maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Stuff from like that time gets a little, hit or miss.
Yeah, there's a lot of early anime that like start off following the manga, and when the manga like isn't too fast to keep up with it, they just do their own thing.
Full Metal
Like the
Alchemist.
original Full Metal Alchemist is one I can think of.
Yeah. That
Also-
was something else.
Also like Black Butler, and I don't know, I can't think of any more, but I know that was definitely a thing.
Can
that, like,
anyone?
people-
Okay, this is not on topic, but can anyone like briefly explain Black Butler to me? Because the
I
only time
can,
I've ever heard of it is from a Diversity a Day seminar led by Mr. Rowe. I know you're watching this, and it was like mentioned in like a group, like a bunch of media that was for like LGBTQ like representation, and I've just been like, it's just had this kind of enigmatic presence in my mind whenever I see it. I'm like, that's the one from the day.
Okay, I'm looking at like my 26 Black Butler volumes on my shelf
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
From back in the day.
Oh my god.
I mean, I've been talking a lot. Chris, do you know what it is?
Not well enough to explain.
Okay, well, like the basic premise of it, it's set in Victorian England, and there's this orphan boy named CL, and his parents get like killed. I don't remember completely, but it's like super confusing. I think they're killed by these cultists who broke into the mansion or something, and he's about to be like killed, and he makes a contract with a demon.
Oh right.
And so that demon now has to serve as his butler.
Wait, what kind of demon wants to be like a servant?
Well, I guess he's in for it because he'll eat like CL's soul eventually when he dies.
Oh,
And he's only there to like exact revenge on the people who killed his parents. So yeah.
I see.
So like once he exacts revenge, like the demon can take his soul.
And are they like, how does it tie in? Like, are they in love or something?
No.
Is that like a thing?
CL is like 12 from what I remember, and the demon is a demon.
Oh. So it
But
just
it's
wasn't
like
meant to be.
a lot of people just like ship it, and like the author kind of makes jokes about it. It's just, it's you can interpret it either way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see.
It definitely has like a gross vibe to it, but
I'm not gonna interpret it that way then, because that
Yeah,
just doesn't sound
no,
right.
no.
No, I was just, yeah, now I know. I'm a little bit more knowledgeable, and I don't feel any smarter.
Mhm.
I guess that kind of wraps us up for today.
That wraps it up.
I think that wraps it up. Great note to end on, I think. Unless we have any last minute
Awesome.
things to talk about that anyone's like dying to speak about.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
I was expecting Alice to say something too, or Aid, and guess.
I don't know. I just talked for a whole like minute.
No,
and
yeah.
so-
All right, it's fine. It's
What was
just,
the question?
it's just kind of a low energy day, you know.
Yeah, Radio Club, it's been a pleasure, everybody, but practice starts for me right now at Viewpoint School.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye,
So
Aiden.
I'm gonna need to dip, but it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. And with that note, we all will subsequently dip. Stay tuned for another episode next week. And yeah, ciao, guys.
Bye.
Bye.